discussion on the actual issues pertaining to ilm, and what are we actually trying to achieve here? Are we trying to achieve collection of information? Is that the purpose? So for example, all of a sudden, now that we have a large sum of information of the Quran inside us, in our heads now, for whatever, through going through this course, is that the objective of what we're doing? Or is there another objective? And if there is another objective, then what is that other objective? And how do we achieve it? Oh, you don't have video? Yeah, I kind of turned the comment section on. So what is that objective, and how can we achieve that objective through studying? So what we used to do is that every session would begin with a couple of things. One thing was the concept of knowledge in Islam. You see, the concept of knowledge in Islam is very different from what's out in the West right now. We have a concept in which the knowledge right now is a product that is sold to people, and then the idea is to appease those people so you can continue to sell that product as in whatever. So universities, they're charging what, thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars in instances. So they primarily just pocket that money for themselves, and then they move on from there. Now, exactly. So is ilm in Islam of this nature? Is it a commodity, or is it something else? If it's something else, what is it, and how are we actually supposed to achieve this? Okay, so obviously from my basics of what I just said, it's not a commodity in Islam. In fact, information is not even considered proper ilm in Islam. So increasing information in your head doesn't do much for you. And then furthermore, there are actual etiquettes of learning, both for a teacher and a student, which are completely missing from the perspective of the Western mindset, or just not, I shouldn't call it the Western mindset, the global mindset right now. Right. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to every day touch up on a riwayah about ilm, and inshallah we can start to digest and see the perspective that Islam has regarding ilm and knowledge and learning. Right? I can't really see your questions, guys, so they go really fast. So please excuse me if I ignore you here. One riwayah is from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says, well, he starts off with why you shouldn't learn knowledge, what you shouldn't be seeking. He says, Man talab al-ilm, whoever sought ilm, liyujari bih al-ulama, so you could like be one of the ulama, like could be called a scholar or a speaker or whatever else, right? Oh, liyumari bih as-sufaha, so he could kind of argue with the idiots and like overcome them. Both are power struggles. Or يصرف به وجوه الناس إليه, or if they to turn the attention of people towards him, to get attention from people. أدخله الله النار, right? The result of this type of knowledge not only is not good, the result of it is fire. The result of it is hell. The result of it is negative on your soul. In other words, fire just means negative consequence on your soul. So we know for sure that we shouldn't be seeking knowledge for these few reasons. Again, one of them is to try to become one of the scholars. And how do we know we're trying to become one of the ulama? If the first thing that comes to your mind when you're learning this stuff, oh, these things have good points, I can share it with other people. right? You're in this for the wrong reason altogether. Oh, this thing has such good points. I can actually go and make a speech out of this. You're in it for the wrong reason altogether. It's good to want to teach. There's nothing wrong with wanting to teach. There's nothing wrong with spreading ilm itself. But if that becomes your primary focus of your soul, of why you're learning all of this stuff, there's a problem with your intention, and there's a problem with what you're trying to achieve here, and it probably won't end well for you, right? Unless you work on it naturally. You got to work on it. You can fix these issues. And we have this problem nowadays in our societies quite often, right? People wanting to be scholars without wanting to go and study first. This is a common problem we're having. They're useful, some of them, but yeah, you know, the basic message that's being sent is, yeah, you know what? We don't have to study. We can just be scholars just by reading a couple of books, as if the people who actually do go and study are just crazy. And there's no all these comments in the ayat of the Quran and the riwayat about educating yourself first, and then going ahead and doing these things are just for fun. They don't really mean anything, right? So that's one of the problems. So it's all merit-based. If you want to do these things, you have to first struggle to stop this. Don't expect too much from the Hausa. You guys stop inviting them, and the issue will stop. So the next issue that we have is, you know, to argue and overcome. In the riwayat is sufaha, which means, you know, foolish people, ignorant people who don't know any better. It's showing that you have knowledge. You can get control over the masses. You can get control over masses when you know stuff. People start, well, this person is my reference point, and when you become the reference point, and this becomes a source of power for you. And some people actually, you know, that's their purpose of wanting to become, you know, preachers or teachers or whatever, maybe including myself. We all have to be careful of this. So if that's a reason, again, this has a very negative consequence on your soul, right? And the third reason is لِيَصْرِفَ وُجُوهَ النَّاسِ إِلَيْهِ. Again, this is to gain attention and to appease our own souls in the process. If any of these are the reasons, knowledge, that same knowledge, which is the key to your success, without it, you cannot reach anything, right? That very same knowledge becomes a source of destruction for you guys, right? Or for us. So let me get up this. Let me just leave the meeting here. Wow, that is so much better. I gotta fix this connection problem. Hello?
Yeah,
can you guys hear me?
Yeah, it's all good, Sayed. Okay. Yeah, it's loud and clear. Thank you.
I can't see the ones on the screen anymore.
Yeah, I was just checking with the setting. I'll enable it again. Yeah.
Okay. Great. So that's this, the third thing. So inshallah, we work on this together, and we make sure that these are not the reasons why we're educating ourselves. Knowledge is not information. Knowledge is a lot more than information. I was warned about this when I was writing this course a long time ago, about 10, 12 years ago. So some of my friends who are respected scholars, they came to me and they were like, you know what? You're going to make mujtahids out of people who already think they're mujtahids. We already have this problem in society, that we have people who already, without knowing the first thing about Islam, without having spent 5 good hours educating themselves, want to have an opinion. It's okay to have an opinion, but want to have an opinion that they're stuck on, as if without any evidence for it. As if, like, you know, their opinion matters. It doesn't. What matters is evidence. What matters is education. What matters is proof. So you're going to turn a lot of people that are already on the verge of this silliness to then go ahead and feel this even more. And I was a little bit taken aback by this advice of these brothers and my friends or whatever. And I was like, yeah, you're right. This is a danger, but there's a bigger danger of us keeping everybody ignorant and not increasing the knowledge of our people. That's another dangerous aspect, right? So we cannot have the masses. One of the aims and objectives of Imam Zaman alayhi salam is going to be to teach the people and raise the level of knowledge of everybody. And once that knowledge level is raised of everybody, we can actually then make a proper movement. So we have to do this. However, it has to be done with all of us as individuals working on ourselves to make sure we don't go on that other path, because the worst thing you could do, you spend so much time searching, studying, researching, staying awake, and learning this stuff only for the wrong reasons and for it to destroy you at the end. So my request is, my brothers, my sisters, for myself and yourselves, all of us together, okay, who work on ourselves while we're learning this stuff, right? You're not going to become a scholar or a knowledgeable person by learning an introductory Quran course. You will excel far beyond what you have learned before. Far beyond what you have learned before. But my intention and the brothers and sisters' intention from this course is, by the end of it, you should realize you don't know anything. If you do not come to this conclusion by the end of the course, I have failed you. The idea is not to learn knowledge or pieces of information. It's to learn your ignorance through the process. We really don't know anything as a whole thing called humanity. We don't know anything, let alone individual like me who's completely ignorant of pretty much everything, including himself and yourselves as well. We don't know much. So it's okay right, to do this. Ammama is not an evidence of a scholar. We have so many of these fake ones around nowadays, and this is recorded. One of them is that brother Tawhidi who failed his first semester, and then he became Imam Tawhidi for some. I was shocked because he was in the school I was in. He got kicked out right in front of me twice, and then he went as Muhammad. So many of these people, unfortunately, they're not educated at all. They're completely ignorant. I mean, some of these people, I get completely surprised because I know them. I saw them in school. They failed, and they did now. They're Imam Al-Fulan, and I'm like, what the hell, dude? You didn't even pass your first class. You know. Similarly, we have ask for credentials, right? Ask for credentials. This is something important. You guys got to do your research, and it's important. I hope we can fix this mess. One of the ways to solve this problem is to increase the knowledge base of the people, so that you're just not ready to listen to nonsense, right? Right now, I sometimes hear some of these guys, and oh my God, they speak so well, some of them, and they don't have the first clue what they're talking about. I wish they'd just keep quiet sometimes, right? But well, what can you do? You can't like go and because there's a lot of benefit for some of these brothers. I love it how they bring the youth together. I really appreciate it. It's good. I love seeing the mu'mineen getting together, youngsters getting excited. So long as we don't make them the source of the source of their knowledge. My credentials, good question. I studied in the Hausa for 13 years to 14 years. I did Bahth Kharij for 5 years. I'm from the school of Shahid al-Sadr. My teachers are the students of Shahid al-Sadr, Baqir al-Sadr. I specialize in the Quran and course Usul and Fiqh for the Bahth Kharij, I guess. I also specialize in a couple of other topics. So that's my credentials. If you want to see papers, I'm more than happy to show you. No, don't. There's nothing. There's no forgiveness needed. This is your responsibility. This is your responsibility. You guys have to do this correctly. We're in this mess because we don't do this stuff, right? Anyway, so let's get started with the dars. What ayah did we get up to? we start lesson 3. Listen. Hey guys, you're confusing me because there's another group on the last ayah. Good. Okay, so let's get. I'm going to take 10 minutes extra time, and I'm not going to answer questions between ayat at all. So please don't ask me. All right? Okay. So let's do the last ayah and then let's move on. هو الذي في السماء إله وفي الأرض إله. So there's an important word over here, which is الذي, which is repeated constantly throughout the Quran. Right? So this word over here, الذي, here, literally it's ism mawsul, but however, the simplest way to explain what this thing is, it's a word that when you use it, after using it, the description of what you have, the person you're talking about comes, right? So for example, in this particular case, huwa alladhi, huwa is the person you're talking about, alladhi is he who, so alladhi actually means he who. It can also mean that which, if you're talking about a thing, not a person. And sorry. Sorry. We had an earthquake just a couple of days ago, so we have these like little tremors coming, I think, or I think my couch is shaking for some other reason. But anyway, that's why I sometimes pause to see, hey, what's going on? So alladhi means he who or that which. This description, fis samai ilahun wa fil ardi ilahun, is the description of the huwa guy, in this case Allah, right? So in another example, yeah, we did it, but I don't think this was an actual tremor. Nothing moved. So we have another ayah, Allahu alladhi la ilaha illahu, right? Allahu alladhi. So Allah and then alladhi la ilaha illahu is the description of Allah. Does that make sense? Right? It's the description of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is one of the most repeated things in the Quran. So one place you see it all the time is Ya ayyuhal ladina. Oh, so hard to type with my finger. Not that I write much better with a pen, but now I at least have an excuse. Ya ayyuhal ladina amanu, right? So here's al-ladina, right? Yes, defining anything that's before alladhi. So ya ayyuhal ladina, ya means God is talking to somebody, right? He's saying ya, hey, somebody, whoever he's talking to, whoever the mukhatab is, right? He's talking to somebody, and he says alladina. Then amanu is the description. Those who secured and believed. He's saying, hey man, the people I'm talking to, the people I'm calling out to, are those guys who believed and who secured. Does that make sense? Right? And then continuing on, just to finish off this ayah over here, we have huwa alladhi fis samai ilahun. He's in the heaven. Sama is a singular of samawat. We did samawat. What does samawat mean, guys? What does samawat mean? Tell me. Heavens. Don't say skies. Say heavens or something higher up. Good. Okay, fis samai ilahun wa fil ardi ilahun. He's the one that makes bewildered in the heavens and makes bewildered in the earth. He's the one that bewilders people. He's the beautiful thing. Or in other words, and according to my analysis and my interpretation, he's the beauty of the heavens. And he's the beauty of the earth. Does that make sense? To define Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's the most beautiful thing we know. Okay, so moving on. I told you hawalim, I guess, or alam. You can't say universe because our definition in English for universe is a physical dunya. We call the universe dunya. So in the ayat of the Quran, it says, وَزَيَّنَّا sama ad-dunya bi-masabih. We beautified the sama, the heavens of the dunya with stars, which is, and in another verse he says with burujin, right? And in another verse he says something else. But anyway, leaving that aside. Let's move on. Okay. So that's the lesson 2 done. Was that very hard, guys? Are you guys finding this difficult? Difficult as in, uh, Alhamdulillah. This is the whole thing. You put this much effort, and God helps you. Make sure you do the 1.5. Make sure you do the breakout rooms. It's challenging. I'm making it challenging. I designed it so you don't get bored in the process and learn something. This is still the basics, right? But if you stick with the breakout rooms and you practice with these brothers and sisters, I guarantee you're going to get through this, right? You're going to get through this. Now, sometimes I speak very fast. That's why you have recordings. So you got to listen to them, right? It's got something, you have to make some effort into this, particularly because we're far away. If we were in one place, it's very different. Some of the people have attended the live classes. It's a whole different ball game. I'm online. I'm behind the screen. You can't see me. Half of you guys don't even know me. And it's difficult sometimes to get these concepts. We have to work with each other. We have to kind of get in sync with each other. Online, it's a bit harder to get in sync with each other. How can Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell them more with Arabic language? Well, everybody is given according, and they grow according to their capacities. And trust me, Arabs don't know Arabic, this Arabic. How many Arabs in the room? Yes, I know a few of you. There you go, right? How much of this stuff did you know? 3/4 is a big number. Not much, usually not much, right? So don't worry. It's difficult for Arabs and non-Arabs alike because this is old school Arabic. It's not the Arabic spoken today. Arabic is one of the most beautiful languages I've ever come across. I'm still diving into this. I'm like, oh my God, what the heck? Like, who came up with this stuff, right? Let me give you one example because I get excited about this example. Really excited about this. We did this. My teacher did this research, and the language. Okay, so the research, and check this research out. You see, you have alif, and I'll quickly go through this. We're gonna get back to the rest, but these things are useful for you too. Alif, ba, ta, tha. Why does this have 1 dot? Why does this have 2 dots? Why does this have 3 dots? How was the language designed? So the research that one of my ustads did was he researched the repetition of these words or these letters in the language by taking, I think, 250,000 words or something in a number of pages, hundreds of pages, and did a quantitative analysis, right? And then the results, the ones with the least dots are repeated more. The one with the more dots are repeated less. It's designed so you don't spend too much time when you're writing. Same with dal, dal. Same with ra, za. Same with jim, ha, kha. And then I was like, oh my God, like this is some cool stuff, right? And there's a whole list of this kind of cool stuff that's there. The dots came later in the script, but they knew what they didn't write them, but they knew they were designed as alif ba ta from the beginning. They didn't write them, right? So there's a lot of intricate details in this language. It's insanity. It's like beyond insanity. Okay, so trust me, learn this, and you're gonna love reading this stuff. It's enjoyable. It's like wow, who came up with this? That's why I keep saying in some of my classes, people take it the wrong way. I swear, even if it's not from God, it's cool. Okay, it's worth the time you spend on it because it's like super. Super detailed, super interesting. Anyway, moving on. So let's start. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. You're giving is new. You're right. Going back to the orange. I never. Okay, thank you. Okay, jazakumullah khair. So alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. So we're at alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. So what does hamd mean? This is one of the things we say in salat, so we should know this back to front. So I won't be dealing with questions between ayat. Okay, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. What does that actually mean? Hamd means praise. And then what does madh mean? You've heard the word maddah, yeah? Right? Mad means praise too. Then what does thana mean? Have you guys been reading Dua Iftitah in this month? So look at the first sentence of Dua Iftitah. Allahumma inni aftatihu thana'a bihamdik. Look at that awful translation that's online. I want to rip my hair out when I read that translation, right? I want to jump off this, building, right? Allahumma inni aftatihu thana'a bihamdik, right? So there it says, I start aftatihu thana, I start your thana with your hamd. If they both mean praise, it's like I start your praise with your praise. That doesn't make any sense. So because it didn't make sense to that translator, whoever in the world he was, he said, I glorify you with your praise. What the heck? You can't just change stuff because you don't know how to translate, right? So thana, hamd means praise, but it's a specific type of praise. So let's start from the beginning. The general concept of praise is mad. There's a smaller concept, which is hamd, and a more specific concept, which is thana. You with me? So the mad is just general praise. Just praise in general is mad. Right? Then you have hamd. Hamd is praising a person their actions that they've done out of their free will. So when you're saying Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, you're saying, God, you're trying to pay attention to the af'al of Allah in our lives. Right? Or everything that you see it as a fi'l of Allah in like higher terms, or I shouldn't be telling you this stuff, right? So hamd is to look and concentrate and see beauty. Hamd and praise. Praise is simply to see beauty. You're like saying, hey man, I'm seeing beauty, therefore hamd, okay? But what are you seeing beauty in? You're seeing beauty in the af'al. You're seeing beauty in the actions, right? Thana, without me explaining it too much because it's not part of our vocab, thana is repetitive praise. Constant praise. So what is praise? Seeing beauty. So now look at this ayah, okay? So in salat, you're saying, I'm seeing the beauty of your actions. That's what you're saying, okay? In the dua of iftitah, it says, Allahumma inni aftatihu thana bihamdik. I open up, okay? I open up. What is, I shouldn't do this now. I open up, right? Thana means repetitive praise. Okay, I open up your continuously visions of your beauty. Allahumma inni aftatihu thana. I open up the continuous visions of your beauty. How do I do it? Bihamdik. I start concentrating on your actions. I see beauty in your actions, and that leads me to constant unveilings of your beauty. You see how different it is? Man, these guys were amazing and they're eloquent. It's beautiful stuff. Why are we ruining it, right? In the house, these guys used to call me the translation police because I used to do a lot of the translations. I was trying to get across to stop doing this. Like you guys are like ruining stuff. I'm not just being the translation police because that was my job at a certain time, but because you're ruining the damn meanings. Get it right. Because the Ahlul Bayt say things beautifully. Why you want to present it half beauty, half of its beauty, right? So anyway, moving on. Where is this? So moving on. The next thing is Rabb. This is another one of those pet peeves of mine. Rabb is usually translated as, tell me, don't tell me what's in the translation, but it's usually translated as Lord, and this is as wrong as it can be. Okay, Rabb has nothing to do with Lord. Okay, Aslan, and whoever translated it is just completely wrong, and I can prove it from the Quran. It says Rabbana alladhi a'ta kulla shay khalqa thumma hada. It's about i'ta, it's about giving, and it's about hidayah. It's a very nourishing, nurturing, loving name, not Lord. Okay, it has an aspect to Lord on it. So if you're so hung up with the Lord thing, it's a nurturing Lord. Okay, there's a big difference because one's a Jalali name, one's a Jamali name. Each one does different things on your heart. Right? So do we have anybody named Rabab in here? No? Okay, Rababa is a root. Rabab comes from the same, right? Rabab is a big cloud which rains onto the earth and then nurtures the earth. Right? Is that clear? And the ayah that I read out about Rabbana a'ata kulla shayin khalqa thumma hada is Surah Taha, ayah number 50. Have a look. It's Musa alayhi salam defining somebody. Musa is asked by Fir'aun, he's like, hey man, who's your Rabb? Okay, define him. And then he defines him. The definition of Rabb has nothing to do with Lord. Lord is so far away from the definition that Musa alayhi salam gave in the Quran. Well, the Prophet gave, and the Musa quoting Musa alayhi salam. Make sense? So Rabb, and that's why in our du'as, what do? We go ahead and we say, Rabbana a'atina fid dunya, and so forth. Rabbana, because it's the one who nurtured us, who grew us up, who took care of us, who nourished us. We're asking that person, say, hey, you please answer my prayers. Similarly, we have, man arafa nafsahu faqad arafa rabba. Right? And you can actually translate this statement, and I'm going to move on after this, right? Man, or is that in lesson 4? It's lesson 4. I'm not going to do it now. Tomorrow, next lesson, okay? I'll explain to you what it actually means. It's not the standard translations that you have with you. Okay, so Rab means this, and then Alameen. Alameen is also a point of contention. The only reason you're saying no, or you want me to tell you, is because you don't want it to turn up next week. Wait till next week, inshallah. We have a lot of concepts to learn, okay? So Alameen, guys, means that there are two opinions of what Alameen mean as well, okay? Alameen can mean one of two things. One of the things that it means is that it actually means the universes or the worlds. Okay. The second thing that it can possibly means is creatures of intellect. I'm not going to write the whole creatures thing because it's a pain to type. Intellect. Okay. Creatures of intellect. What are the creatures of intellect? Insan, Jinn, and Malaika. Right? They are the three creatures of intellect. There's a whole argument of why each one has their own opinion, right? Same root, alam, ilm, right? I don't think it's really important to go through the opinion. Just know, and the more stronger opinion is actually the creatures of intellect. It's a bit more solid. We have some riwayah to back it up. We have some grammatical issues to back it up, and so forth. But it's not such a big deal, right? Each one has their own. And we'll just drop it so we can move on with the class. Right. So, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, right? Comes from the same root as ilm, but not. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, all praise and all the beauties are from the actions of God, are for Allah. All praise from actions actually belong to Him because those are His actions ultimately and refer back to Him. Rabbil Alameen, the one who nurtured the creatures of intellect, or the ones who nurtured the realms of existence, whatever. Float your boat for now. Okay, a little different from what we are used to. Would you agree? Okay, let's do the next one. Okay, now the next one, Inna Allaha bin nasi la ra'ufun rahim. Okay, so Inna we know, Inna Allaha, what is Inna Allaha? I'm going to go over time today, guys. Yeah. So Inna Allaha is Inna Allaha, certainly the one who bewilders, or certainly Allah. Okay, bin nas. Now this ba over here, we've put in the translations, and people have done it in relation to. It's not that precise. We don't really have an in relation to with ba, but you can float with this. Go with this for now. In relation to. Okay, so Inna Allah bin nasi la ra'ufun rahim. Okay, nas, guys. What does it mean? Nas, insan. Oh, let's go back to the word insan. What does the word insan mean? And why have we been called insan? There's a whole bunch of names for people. There's insan, then there's bashar, okay, and so forth, right? So there are two opinions, and one of the brothers just mentioned, right? One of the opinions of why insan is called insan is it comes from nisyan. nisyan, right? And because it's forgetful, so we know things and then we just forget them, and we don't mean memory wise, we mean in our hearts. We lose attention. So dhikr and nisyan are two, opposites in this particular case. We become unattentive of things. That's more precise for what they mean by nisyan. We become inattentive, right? So we know riba is bad, but we do it anyway. We feel bad about it and it hits us, and then tomorrow we sleep and wake up and let's do it again, right? And so forth. So because we're forgetful creatures, insan are called insan. The second one is from ons, as one of the brothers and sisters mentioned. Ons, right, means, ons means intimacy, okay, closeness. They have a particular intimacy. So one of the ways to understand this intimacy is this, guys. Human beings, unlike other creatures, and jinns can also experience this better as well, they can see beauty. You see, you don't have, as explained, I think I explained it last time, you don't have like a lion going, hey, you know what, I want this territory more than that one because this one has a better view, right? When was the last time you heard of a lion or any other animal saying that? Well, we can't understand them anyway, but fighting over some place with a better view. They don't care too much about beauty. Humans, on the other hand, are able to perceive perfection and beauty like no other creature. And they actually have then been given a higher maqam. Right? Now, this proposes a question. Okay, why are we better than angels? And please be quick, we don't have time. Why are we better than angels? That's the best answer I've heard so far. I do not know. Free will, I can assure you, angels also have free will. You haven't heard of the ayah of the Quran, where the angel says, Ataj'alu fiha man yafsiku? Are you going to put a Khalifa on earth that does this? So that was from their free will. Angels have their pure rationality. Firstly, you should have got it that we are not better than angels. We can be better than angels. Which one of you guys has the guts to claim you're better than Jibra'il? Or let me give you a better example. Which one of you have the guts to say you're better than Malik al-Maut? Yeah? Probably none of us. I definitely will not. Even, not a good relationship to build with him, considering the fact he's going to kill us one day, right? So we can potentially be better, okay? And one of the reasons, like the brothers and sisters mentioned in the room, is that exactly, changes one day. A painful changing, but he will change it. So one of the reasons is that we have desires along with rationality and aql. Then my question is, why are you better than jinns? Exactly. Are we? I thought we're ashraf al-makhluqat. No? Some good, some bad. Aren't we supposed to be the best creation, mathalan? We're pretty arrogant. Just until not long ago, we thought this Earth is the only thing that exists in this bazillion universes that are out there. Yes, for sure. They have intellect. They have desires. So why can we be better than them? What's the idea? No, humans as a whole are ashraf al-makhluqat. That genus called human are considered ashraf al-makhluqat. Why? I want you to think about that, and I'm not going to answer it. So think about this. So nas, right, means uh, nas means humans that are created for uns, intimacy with God, right? Intimacy with God. Then we have another word, la ra'ufun rahim. La means certainly. Ra'uf, guys, is very similar to rahma. Do you remember what rahma meant?
What does it really mean? I know it means mercy. Thank you. Giving somebody something to somebody who needs something, right? Somebody who needs something. To give somebody who needs something. The womb is called Rahim because the child needs it. Okay? Rahma is to give somebody who is in need. However, the problem with this and translating into mercy is that mercy, generally in English, has a connotation of 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 kindness and softness and something that feels good, right? However, rahma doesn't mean this. Rahma could be painful. An injection is rahma, right? Have you ever taken a child to like get an injection, right? They're like crying their eyes out, and the parents like, oh, whatever, you know, kid, you'll get over this. Here's a lollipop, here's a bunny, and you know, whatever. You'll get over it. But here's the injection, okay? Because it's mercy. They're in need of this, right? However, ra'fa is mercy that is severe, that is shiddatul rahma, one, it's strong mercy, and it's painless, without pain. Ahsant. Without any pain. So if you look, and now I want you to experience the precision of the Quran. Go to Surah Nur, and it's ayah number 2. It's talking about the people who do zina, and if they do it in public and 4 people see them, and the whole shebang is, you know, proven or whatever else, right? It's Surah number 24, and then ayah number 2. It says this. Where is it? وَلَا تَأْخُذْكُمْ بِهِمَا رَأْفَةٌ. Don't have ra'fa on them, right? Don't have rahma on them. Don't have ra'fa on them. Have rahma. This is mercy, but no ra'fa. Okay? Don't feel a sense of not giving somebody pain, because I know you don't want to give them pain. Okay? I've also been asked to explain Rahman. One of the meanings of Rahman, one of the problems we have with understanding Rahman is that it has no opposite, right? From the names of Allah. There is no opposite. It encompasses all the other names. That's an opinion at the very least. Right? Allahumma inni aftatihu thana. No. Allahumma inni as'aluka bi rahmatika allati wasi'at kulli shay. Right? Okay, moving on. So, inna Allah bin nas, tell me, certainly Allah bin nas, in relation to mankind or people, la ra'ufun rahim. Insan is human, and nas, there's a few differences given. Let's leave it for now. Okay. Some say this is a plural, but anyway. So, la ra'ufun rahim. He's affectionate. We can translate ra'fa into affectionate, but mercy without pain is the actual precise meaning. Okay. La ra'ufun rahim. This is a new ba here. Ba over here means in relation to, as we explained already. Okay. Rahim, which means merciful. Okay. Moving on. So just to add to that, we've had 2 bas, but we'll keep on explaining. Wallahu bin nas, wallahu bi kulli shay'in alim. Sorry. Wallahu, let's move on. Wallahu, and Allah is bi kulli shay'in alim. Again, you can use the in all relation to, or you can also just use with, right? Bikulli shay'in, in relation to. Kul means all, guys. Kul means all. Okay? Sh, or every, whatever floats your boat. Okay? Shay means thing. Now there's a big debate as to what shay actually means. Other names of Allah, shay, yes, no. Okay? What does shay actually come from? Shay, for those who know any Arabic, is masdar bima'na ism maf'ul. Basically, it means, it comes from the same root as mashia. 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 Have you heard all the insha'Allah? Have you heard people saying, you know, Yahdi man yasha, that yasha is referring to the mashia of Allah, and we're going to explain this in proper detail in lesson 5, 6, or 7, one of the lessons, right? Exactly what it means. Mashi, mashi'atun. This is a hamza. My writing is probably not going to help you because my writing sucks. Okay, but anyway, so it comes from the same root as Mashiach, something that the Mashiach of Allah has been applied to. Or in other words, what we translate as think. So for now, you can apply the word think to it until we explain it thoroughly in lesson 5, 6, or 7. Okay? So Allah, wallahu bi kulli shay'in. Allah is in relation to all shay. What does shay mean? Hurry up, guys. Put your fingers on your laptops. Okay? Everything in this particular case, alim. Alim, right? It doesn't, yasha doesn't mean please at all. I'll explain to you when we get to there. Inshallah definitely doesn't mean if God wishes. Okay? At all. I'll tell you where it comes from when we get to that stage, inshallah. Alim means all-knowing. Now we have a problem here. We have these names that we have for anyway, let me not criticize this. I don't want to. Yeah. Okay, fine. I'm not going to do it. But alim, guys, means somebody who's all-knowing. Okay. The plural of alim is ulama. No, it's a little too soon for me to trash a lot of things that you kind of hold close. Okay. So slowly, inshallah. Okay. Ulama is a plural of alim. Ulama is not the plural of alim. Okay? Ulama is not the plural of alim. Alim's plural is alimun. So just to get an idea and my proof for this as well, have you heard of the word faqir? What is the plural of faqir? Fuqara. Faqir, fuqara. Hakim, hukama. Kareem, kurama. You see the pattern? Yeah. Alim, ulama. Now I want you to understand. This really gets on my nerves, right? So we have this riwayah that, anbiya or ulama or ummati afdalu min anbiya bani Israel. The scholars of my nation, right, are better than what? The prophets of Bani Israel. Have you heard of this? Anybody who thinks what this means is like the standard Tom who has an amama on his head is better than the prophets of Bani Israel is completely out of their minds. This is a reference to the Ahlul Bayt. They are the ulama. And anybody who's specifically at that type of level, like Abbas alayhi salam Chash, I wouldn't say a word, yes, probably is referring to that. It's a maqam. Right? So, alim ulama, kareem kurama, faqir fuqara, alim ulama, alim alimun. Right? Look how bad these translations, wrongly and understood words, take us, where they take us. Right? So, ulama. Of course, and you also have to bear in mind, what I'm telling you is not like wahi, right? I don't have access to wahi. These are just from the dictionaries. Ali means all knowledgeable or super knowledgeable, right? Extremely knowledgeable. These are from the dictionaries of 1,000 years old, and people keep asking for references. I'm pretty sure I've explained the references like 10 times, but I've been told to do it again, right? It's Kitabul Ain, one of the first books written. Mufradat Raghib, Maqayisul Lugha, Al-Furuq Al-Lughawiyya. What else we have? We have Lisanul Arab. We have Majma al-Bahrain, At-Tahqiq fi Kalimat al-Quran, and I'm forgetting one of them. These are the source books, guys, okay? So if you want to find the answers of where I get this stuff from, go search them. You won't be able to read them. They're not easy books to read, okay? But these are the source books that are being used. Now, these are not wahi and munzal, but at least let us open our eyes to the other opportunities and the other meanings that are out there, right? Tahdhibul Lugha I don't use. No. I think it's a more recent book. Okay, moving on. Okay, so bikulli shayin alim. And Allah is in relation to all things alim, all-knowing or super-knowing, right? Allah then also refers to himself alam, right? Alam, which means super-knowing as well. And then if you want to be more knowing than alam, like some people have their names, allama, right? The allama means a little bit more knowing than God. I swear we need to stop using these titles for people. For the sake of God, right? These titles are crazy. They don't make any sense if you actually go to what it means. I know that people don't mean these things, right? Allama actually means super knowledgeable. Like God uses the term alam for himself. And then we, the people themselves are amazing. Like Allama Tabatabai, of course he wouldn't want this name for himself and he didn't use it for himself. But we're taking this the wrong way, okay? It shouldn't be done like this. It's my opinion. It's just my opinion. You don't have to agree with me, okay? Just my 2 cents as a person who, I think we should have things in the right place and use the right terms because it leads to, you know, I don't think it's correct. And again, this is not that these scholars who are like this, for example, the one scholar I love him, I love this man is Ayatollah Jawadi Amuli. He's Allama nowadays, right? And definitely he's probably one of the most knowledgeable, if not the most knowledgeable all-rounder we have today. In my opinion, he's the most knowledgeable all-rounder we have in today's world. But again, these terms are, you know, they're a little bit off. But anyway, moving on. I would title them Sheikh or Sayyid if they're Sayyid, like it should be done. Okay, or whatever, some other title. See what the Ahlul Bayt used. Stick to those. It would be much better. Stick to what the Ahlul Bayt did. It's a much better idea than to make up things ourselves, right? These titles are only 60, 70 years old. They're not new. Okay, only 80, 90 years old. They weren't used before. They've changed, like Hujjatul Islam. It's not important, but please, it's not sidetracked. Let's get back to this guy. It's really not important. It's just a matter of a term. It's just a matter of a term, guys. Okay, so ba in this particular case in relation to or with. Next ayah. I have 2 more minutes and I got to finish a couple of ones. La ilaha illa huwal azizul hakim. Okay, 2 words over here. Aziz. Aziz, guys, does not mean dear and beloved. Okay, that's in Farsi and that's in current Arabic. Aziz in Arabic comes from the word izza, respect, honor. Okay, somebody who's Aziz is somebody who has a lot of honor and might and cannot be, you know, weakened and humiliated. That's Aziz. Okay, you with me? And then Hakim. Hakim comes from hikmah. Hikmah means wisdom, and hukm means, what does hukm mean, guys? Order, judgment. So why does hukm come from hakim? Probably going to be the last word by the looks of it. And I know what you're going to say, because the judgment has to be wise, right? That's what I thought too first, but that's not true. That's not the reason. Hakama bil Arabi, it means to stop and barricade something. Okay, Hakim was also reference to doctors before. To barricade or stop something. So if you were on a horse and you're like, you know, Hakam to dabbati, I kind of stopped my horse. I pulled on its reins and I stopped it, right? So it's to stop something, right? It's to stop something. Hukm is called a hukm because it's supposed to stop injustice. Okay, so hukm, what does it stop? It says no to dhulm or injustice. Okay, and then a hikmah is called hikmah. Why? Because it stops batil. There's a nice little saying: when love and knowledge meet, they give birth to wisdom. Right? You can find that on that Insta page, right? So when love and knowledge meet, they give birth to wisdom, right? So hikmah is called hikmah. Why? Because it stops batil, and it's true. You just read Nahjul Balagha, Imam Ali's sayings, or read any wise sayings. It kind of puts an end to batil that's surrounding your heart, right? We're out of time now, but I started late. It wasn't my fault either. But can we do this? Because there's some important words. There's Azim, there's Ibad, there's Alim. Can I do one more ayah, please? Okay, just one more ayah. My apologies. I know time is over. But if you missed this and you guys have to go, this will be recorded and you can just forward it to this this part of the discussion, right? So inna Allah, so la ilaha illa huwa al-azizul hakim. Yeah, I know I have to eat so I'm going to rush and eat something in a bit. So la ilaha illa huwa al-azizul hakim. There is no Allah, there is no ilah, there's no bewildering worship one, except he. Al-Aziz is the Almighty or the Honorable Almighty, and Hakim, the wise, the all-wise, the one who barricades and stops batil kind of thing going on, right? And the last ayah, Inna Allaha alimun qadir. So Inna Allaha means what, guys? Quickly, Inna Allaha. Oh wow, there's a whole bunch more. Shame on me. Inna Allaha alimun qadir. Alim means all-knowing, and qadir. Qadir, we always say this, innaka ala kulli shayin qadir. What does qadir mean, guys? Powerful? Sure? Able, strong? Okay, so I have one other question. Able to do something? Okay, cool. What about qawi? What does qawi mean? Have you heard of this one? Somebody who's qawi, he's powerful too? Okay, let me throw you another curveball. La hawla wa la quwwata. La hawla wa la quwwata. How do you translate this? La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. No power other than Allah. You ate one of the words. So which one is it? Quwwa is power. Then what is hawl? You see the problem? Okay. So there are actually three terms for power, or there's more, but at least we have three for now. Qawi just means power, which is more than enough power, more than sufficient power. I'll deal with hawl later. Qadir comes from miqdar, qadr. Laylatul Qadr is coming, and I should talk about this, right? Qadir comes from qadr, measurement. A person who does things according to a measured power, precise. Look how beautiful that is, right? So qadir is a person who has measured, who uses measured power. Laylatul Qadr is called Laylatul Qadr because your measurements are taken. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Da'imul Rahman, Da'imul Fadl. He's always sending down his blessings. But then your measurement of your soul changes and your heart changes. And as this changes, you end up taking more or less into your hearts or into your souls. Therefore, Laylatul Qadr. Right? And one important word that I want to finish off this with is qalb. Hawl I'll deal with later on, inshallah. What does qalb mean in Arabic, guys? Heart, huh? Then what does fu'ad mean in Arabic? Thank you, one of you got it right. What does fu'ad mean? Have you heard of the word fu'ad? That also means heart. Qalb actually means something that's constantly changing. Constantly changing. Yes, it has different layers. So it's constantly changing. Have you heard of the word inqilab? Inqilab. Inqilab comes from the word qalb, because it's a revolution, it changes things. Right? Ya muqallib al-qulub. Oh, one who changes the thing that changes. They translate oh, one that changes the heart, not realizing they both come from the same root. Ya muqallib, muqallib, right? Comes from the same root as qalb. Oh, one that changes the thing that changes. Now, why is this important? The heart is constantly changing. What you assume in your head changes your heart. What you see changes the form of your heart. What you hear changes the form of your heart. What you do changes the form of your heart. Right? If you're assuming the meanings to be incorrectly in your mind, the formation that your heart takes on is incorrect. And if your formation your heart takes on is incorrect, adhkar are supposed to connect our hearts to Allah, right? If your formation is incorrect, the connection is incorrect. Qalb is not the rule, it's different. If your formation of the qalb and the change that it takes on is different, the way you connect is different. Okay, so we have to get these things as right as possible. Of course, it's very difficult to be dead precise, but we got to try. Take the next step. Alhamdulillah, our ulama have done a great job saving this nation from misguidance over the last 1,000-something years. It's a difficult job, and great job of trying to understand the Quran at the first level. It's time to I said it again, ulama, the alimun. See how bad it is? The scholars, or whatever you want to call them, right? Fuad is a heart that's on fire. So they've done a great job, but it's time to go to the next level and take the entire nation to the next level, inshallah. So we understand it a little bit better. And Laylatul Qadr is because it's a night that capacity. Yes, exactly what I said. So the whole idea of Laylatul Qadr is to build up your capacity before going to it. Therefore, Rajab, Sha'ban, and Shahr Ramadan. Qadir means somebody who has power according to a measurement. Qadir means somebody who uses power or has power according to a measurement. He's all powerful, but according to that measurement in Qadir. When we say he's Qawi, we mean he has more power than required. Fuad will explain when we get to the word system. It just means a heart on fire, as I already mentioned. Measurement of the amount of power you need for something, right? It's like dead precise. It's got precision in there, right? So like for example, let me do this. Okay, here's a phone, right? I can pick it up and do this, and this is precise measure of what I need. I could just go like this, right? Use axis power and like it gets flung onto the wall, right? That's axis power. Of course, this is a silly example, but this can be used on all aspects of creation. We'll explain Fuad when it comes to, I explained already the amount that we're going to explain for now. It's just, it means a heart on fire. Okay, but when we get to the word in its own place, we'll explain it in detail. Just the right amount of power, measured power. At least it's one of the opinions, hopefully closer to me. I apologize, I've taken Muqallib al-Qulub, the changer of the thing that changes. Muqallib is a changer. Okay, take care of yourself, guys.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sayyid. If you stop sharing the screen, then I'll distribute the guys in the breakout room. Just one important instruction that we have got a large number of participants, so it will take some time to get the request to join the breakout room. So please be there and look for the request that you will get from us for the respective breakout rooms, and then you will join the breakout rooms. Thank you very much. Brother Kamran, can you stop the recording, please?